Already?
Ready.
Ready. Welcome back to the Aftermatch with Kirsten Beeve. Come for the rugby, stay for the Aftermatch. Boy, oh boy, the tours of all tours, Beeve. Put the Lions series of 2025 to one side because the greatest rivalry, the greatest show in 30 years. How has it been 30 years since we've had a proper tour of South Africa? But the All Blacks are finally going back there for a 10-show trip.
A 10-shower, yeah.
This is all time.
And to be honest with you, I remember hearing this whisper when I was in France for the World Cup, and I thought there's no way. Like, just of the modern game, the modern world that we live in now, we've got 360 showing up and all sorts. I thought, how are they ever going to have a fully fledged 10-game tour of South Africa ever again? And well, anywhere in the world. You just thought that sort of stuff was a thing of the past, apart from obviously the set-in-stone Lions tours. But it's brilliant news, and geez, what a tour.
It is going to be unbelievable. Let's talk South Africa. Hopefully, South Africa, we're coming for you. Are you going to be getting along to any of these games? Where will you be going? What matches will you be going to? Let us know in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe for all of the content as well. But Beeve, we'll start off at the beginning. Why is South Africa such a good place to travel? Why do the players love it? Why do the fans love it?
Well, from a playing point of view, it's the greatest test. And it's the greatest test you as a rugby player. It's, I joke, it's, probably the greatest test of manhood, because you are going into some proper games of rugby as far as the opposition are the biggest and best that the New Zealanders will ever come up against. And it's just everything around it. Like, it's a rugby country. And look, it's been a long time since I've toured there as a rugby player. I wonder if it's become more of a rugby country. I look forward to just the atmosphere that's created. But you go there as a player, you know how tough the games are, the iconic stadiums. And yes, some of them are probably getting a little bit dated now, but it's not an issue. You don't go there thinking, this needs a paint job. You go there excited because you've seen them on TV, you've seen your heroes play at them, and you know the size crowds that, traditionally always went there, be it for Super Rugby or Test matches. So it's the Mecca for a New Zealander to go there. Obviously, a lot will say the same about coming to New Zealand. So it's truly a Mecca, and it's also a wonderful country.
Yeah.
Like, as a player, your days off are well and truly looked after.
What do you do on your days off in South Africa?
Well, I know these days it's very much they run a golf tour wherever they go. But
instead of going to safari, or in the cage with the sharks.
Yes, well, there are a couple of highlights when you're a rugby player / tourist. See, I was lucky enough on my very first trip. We went down and stayed at we were about to go up and play in the Hive Out, but for the first few days we went and stayed down in Kruger Park, in a casino that was just attached to. And Kruger Park, of course, is the most famous of all safari venues when you go to South Africa. And I ticked off the Big Five. I didn't even know what the Big Five was, but I ticked off the Big Five.
So tell us what the Big Five are.
Oh, now you get me. Obviously the lions there, the rhino, the elephant. I want to say a leopard.
Is a leopard part of the Big Five?
Well, it's unique.
Are these hard ones to spot, or why are they called the Big Five?
Yeah, look, I know we're going to have South Africans screaming.
So come on, Beeve. So you've got 4 of the 5.
Yeah.
You added a leopard.
I added the leopard. I want to either say the cheetah. Yeah, I think it might be the cheetah too.
But then you've got 3
cats. Yeah,
3 cats, lions, cheetahs, and...
Well, what else are you chucking in there?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. So you've got an elephant, you've got the rhino. The rhino of all is the one that spooks the guides the most, because they reckon a rhino will go the trucks that you go around in and have the ability to
tip it over. Well, I'm glad it didn't happen to you.
No, thanks.
And I hope it doesn't happen to anyone when they go on this tour either.
No, so the safaris, I ticked it off. So then, on days off.
How close did you get?
Oh, close enough.
Like within
you've got to
touching
remember,
distance?
You've got to remember, on my first tour of South Africa, I'm running a disposable camera where you wind it, you take it, and then the Kodaks, you wind. See,
so by that stage, the animal's already in front of you.
The youngsters wouldn't even know what the brand Kodak is. They wouldn't know.
Expensive to develop the film, though. It was like $1 a picture back then.
It was more to develop your disposable camera than it was to buy the disposable camera. And there was no
took
zooms.
Like 2 weeks?
No, so I was telling the guy, can you get a bit closer here? I'm running my disposable. disposable, and then you wind it on after you've taken one. So I got some great photos.
Where are they now? Have you got an album?
Of course, album.
You've got an album.
In the early years of Super Rugby, I'm a tourist.
Your albums.
I'm running albums,
Oh, wow.
identifying which we're writing little captions underneath.
Doesn't know where his jerseys are. He's got his albums.
I've got my album sorted. But the other wonderful thing, of course, so you do your big five on day one of your touring life. Every time a safari's been offered after that, I was like, oh, I'm good.
Tick them off.
I've got the big five covered. So the other one that I wanted to tick off, and I was lucky enough to tick off, was the great white cage shark diving.
Not for me. You were keen on that.
I was keen until we...
That's because you don't go swimming, right?
Well,
you don't swim in the ocean, so you don't have these irrational fears that a shark's going to come and eat you when you're out of the ocean.
I saw a shark in the weekend when I went fishing.
You're on a boat.
Yeah, true.
You're not in the water with them.
I'll tell you what, when you're looking at these great whites, they're bigger than most trailer boats in this country. So we went up there, and it was this guy's...
Where was this one?
So it was 2 hours up the coast from Cape Town. So we went there on a Sunday after a game against the Stormers. And we paid what at the time the exchange rate wasn't as good as it was today, so we paid a fortune for it. And we didn't realise, but this guy was running his last week. He was selling his business, and we had four of our...
He had a few accidents, had he?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we almost had a few casualties because he tied the back of the shark cage onto the back of his duck board. So for those that don't know what a duck board is, it's the back of the boat, bit of a platform.
Yeah.
And they put it off there, and... we put down, there was four of us, four of the Chiefs boys. One was Liam, one was Christian Ormsby, another huge man, and two others, can't remember who it was. But we said to him, hey, look, mate, should we just chuck three? We're normal, we're a bit bigger than normal. And they're like, no, four's fine. Well, these boys had gone down for about all of 10 seconds. Bang, the wire that was having its tied to the back of the duck board had snapped.
Oh,
and
so they're just floating in there.
So it's suspended on one corner. And so all of a sudden, this flat shark cage is now on an angle, and the boys have got a pocket of air, but the four of them are throwing their heads in to try and get air. And in the meantime, there's 7-foot sharks just cruising around these boys, and old mate who's selling his business couldn't care. So we're on the back of the duck board trying to scoop the boys out through the hole because there's a bit of panic. Liam and the boys come out with cuts on their forehead because that's where they're smacking their heads against the cage trying to get air. And to finish that story, about an hour or so later, when we've got the bravery to go in there.
I was going to say, did you even bother after that?
Well, we did. We probably shouldn't have, because we just got out some fencing wire and just did a wee shoelace tie on the back of his boat, and we're like, okay, good.
South African ingenuity.
Ingenuity at its finest. We went in there, ticked the box, got a few pictures.
Did you take the disposable down?
Yeah, but disposable. Oh no, disposables weren't waterproof at that time.
Oh, they could be though.
Oh,
you could get the waterproof. You just had to pay a few extra dollars for them.
Well, I didn't have that sort of money. I was only on the entry-level Super Rugby contract of 65, so I didn't have that sort of money floating around. But the funny thing out of all that was, like, the boys like Christian and Liam, by the end of the day go, oh, I've sort of got over the fear of being eaten on this broken boat. Chance of going back in, and the guy goes, no, you've had your chance.
So that was it.
So it was it. So the boys paid 800 Kiwi
to have a panic attack and try and find an air pocket.
Yeah, to try and smash their head against some steel poles. So, but I'm sure there's other companies that are worth going to. So shark diving, you got to tick it off.
So from a tourist point of view, for the fans that are going to make their way over to South Africa, and I imagine there are going to be so many that want to head on this tour, because you never know the next time it'll happen. I'm sure no one thought
this would happen.
That it would be 30 years before the next one after 1996. So as a fan, what do you have to watch out for? What are the things that could get you? As
a fan? Well, yeah, if you're going to do the shark diving, make sure he's not selling his business and he cares a little bit for your life. But no, I think obviously, it's well documented. I'd say a lot of Kiwis will be going over in tour groups, so they'll have security, and you just got to have your wits about you in different places. But all in all, like the people,
the food's
incredible.
What was your favourite? Yeah, it's just meat.
It's just a meat-a-thon. You do come home wanting to find your first salad, but the meats are incredible. They love a braai, which is of course the South African version of a barbecue. It's an event. Don't you call it a barbecue, and don't say you're using gas bottles around the South Africans, because that's a no-no.
Is it coal?
Yeah,
it's all coal.
Yeah, or wood, depending. And the other thing is from a food, the delicacy, I would say at breakfast time is omelettes.
Oh, yes.
They do the finest omelettes
The omelettes
in the
of
world.
the Southern Sun. That woman, she's an omelette queen.
We don't even have omelettes in this country. I know you can get them from a calf, but you never have one. You never cook one. But you go to South Africa and all of a sudden you turn into a connoisseur and you have about 2 a day.
Okay, so what did you choose from the buffet to go in your omelette?
Well, at the
What
time,
were you telling them?
At the time, I hadn't matured enough to enjoy mushrooms, so it was
So you
everything
didn't
bar
like
mushrooms.
mushrooms?
Yeah, I now have grown into mushrooms.
So you had the wee capsicum,
Capsicums, of
cheese,
course.
bit of onion, bacon, or ham.
And here you are,
no
having
mushroom.
like we would never, as a player, I was never having a cooked breakfast in New Zealand, but over there, you'll have a couple of those.
2 omelettes.
Yeah,
That was your daily.
buffet belly, they call it.
Buffet belly.
You put on weight when you go to South Africa because you're eating meat and you're having omelettes. Yeah,
Sounds like a great time.
it's a great time.
It sounds
Are
like
we
a
still
great
being a
time.
tourist now, or are we being a player?
Bit of both. A bit of both. This rivalry, though, Beef,
Yep.
like 1996 was so unbelievably special for so many
Yes.
reasons, right?
Yeah.
The last tour, the first time New Zealand had ever won a series in South Africa, some of the
Yep.
greats of the games. We've talked about that 1996 team and tour before.
Yes.
But how significant was that tour for the All Blacks and South African rivalry?
Well, like I guess the modern day rugby player and, my generation, we had to be almost educated on that achievement, the 96 achievement. Because, I was, what have I been? I'd have been 12 as the 96 tour was happening. And I had to be told by my dad that this is South Africa and this is, because of the apartheid, like I grew up not knowing the South African story or the philosophy and the ability of their rugby players. And so therefore you didn't realise how big it was until you started to get told no New Zealand team's ever gone there and won a series. And, the reasons for that, and, obviously back in the day, every trick in the book was played, every referee decision before neutral referees. So some of the greats of our history, would have never gone there and won, even before the official apartheid era. So I think that was lost, or that had to be educated into us youngsters. I guess guys now realise that, South Africa is, they're as far as New Zealand goes, as far as the benchmark, and they're it. So that sort of things. But talking about how tough it is, I remember a couple of things, and I think it was more touring of the Chiefs. But the team room, for example, is where everything gets thrown. And, sometimes things, when you're in South Africa, you can't explain. You've got to be prepared for anything as a team. And I remember we woke up one morning of a game day in Durban, and I ran into the manager, and Stu, our old Chiefs manager, used to run pretty high on the rev counter anyway. But this particular morning, he was off the charts, and he was a real bright shade of red. And I was like, what's going on, mate? And he goes, the jersey's gone missing. Overnight, the jersey's gone missing. So
The playing jerseys.
So something had happened to the playing jerseys in the team room, and they disappeared. So all these sorts of things.
Are they doing it to throw you off, or?
Oh, I think opportunists and the throwing off. Obviously, we all know the story of the '95 World Cup and some of the beliefs around what happened to the boys' bellies there and things like. And we were privy to it in my time. The accusations of spying.
Was there spying going on?
I think I've been in situations where I possibly think it has happened.
When?
In our Super Rugby time in Pretoria. But another thing, I remember one of our coaches, I won't name him in particular, was always paranoid about like your paperwork from team meetings. That's got to go in the safe. So everything was going in the safe. So just little things like that along the way, which just make it such a unique time, such a unique tour.
How much success did you have over there, both in the black jersey and the Chiefs?
So
More success than failures?
Chiefs, I reckon, by the end probably ended up, I'd say, slightly better than 50-50. In the early days, the Chiefs were pretty. We won because the Chiefs were such a bit of a basket case of a franchise for so long. In the early days, every time we won somewhere, that was a first time victory somewhere. I remember we won in Cape Town for the first time and what have you, and it had been 10 or so years. We'd had success. We went through the entire South African tour unbeaten, which was the first for Chiefs and stuff like that. And then at the end, when I came back as an old man, we won a couple of playoff games over there. So that was cool. Obviously, the South African final against the Bulls, we'll ignore that. But
That's when they were spying.
They must have been spying.
They
that
got
day.
their hands on the team sheets and the paperwork from the team room.
But I guess that the All Black time that really jumps out at me, and talk about the test of your manhood, and that it was the year of 2009. I think the greatest South African team, which was also tied up with the Bulls team that certainly overplayed. And
Who was playing?
Oh, your Victors, your Buckies, your Pierce Speaces, Fru Dupree, Habana, Mornay, John de Villiers, Jacques Ferry. It was a hell of a team. And we wasn't a tour, but we played 2 games in Africa, Durban and Bloem. And DC was out for snapped Achilles, so I was handed the keys, and it was just such an examination of you for 2 weeks straight. It was the closest thing I obviously get to going on a tour of South Africa.
That's so great, isn't it?
Yeah, that year.
As a rugby player, that is so great.
That year I actually got sent a tax invoice from the South African government because
You'd spent that much money there.
No, that much time. So we had a three game tour regular season with the Chiefs. Went back there for the final in Pretoria, so it was 4 weeks, and then we had like 2.5, 3 weeks because we went a week early leading up to the 2 weeks in South Africa.
So you're basically a citizen of Cape Town by this point.
I was a local boy chief. No, unfortunately we weren't in Cape Town enough. If I'd been in Cape Town, well, I might have spent too much money.
Okay, well, let's go through this tour then. So it starts in August next year, August and September 2026.
By the way, just for the tourists listening, that's the back end of peak great white season. June, July is when you really want to do it, but there'll be a few floating around in August.
Okay, where do they go? Do they...
Well, they follow the warmer temperatures, I do believe. No, it must be colder temperatures, the great whites down there. Oh, look, they might be following the seals, I don't know.
First he's got 3 cats in the big 5, and now they're following the seals somewhere, hot or cold.
Somewhere.
But we start off with 3 matches, weekend, midweek, weekend again, against the old Super Rugby franchises that are now playing, of course, in the URC.
You're playing in the URC, a favourite competition of ours here on the Aftermatch.
Yeah, you better watch it now.
Yeah.
You need to keep your eyes peeled for all the talents coming through.
Munster beating Leinster, big result on the weekend, all you Irish fans.
Has it improved that competition?
Well, I tell you what, on a side issue, Munster, 4 guys named in the Irish team. I think Leinster 16 or 17. It's caused a bit of a ruckus, and then this game happens where Munster goes out and beats them.
Huge.
And guess who's coaching them now?
Yes.
Clayton.
Yes, Clayton McMillan.
So fantastic result there for Munster, my favourite team in Ireland.
So we start off,
yes,
Cape Town Stormers, with some gun players, some gun Springboks, including Sasha Feinberg Nomozulu,
yes,
Marnie Labok, Kobus Ragnar,
got some depth in the insides,
Damien Willemse, like all the guys that have been so good this season for the Boks.
And the thing about, which I guess we probably didn't realise, is because often it's well broadcasted here whenever that tired argument gets run out here about we've got to pick from overseas players, and we always point, South Africa does it, South Africa does it. For a long time, we, I guess, naively presumed they were all off overseas. And then you start looking at this, the Stormers alone, they're all come back.
Yeah. That's going to be like an amazing opening match of this tour.
And a wonderful place to open it. Like, as far as the tourist side of things, we've talked about, it's probably Cape Town's where you feel your most freedom, as far as, I guess, close to New Zealand, as far as coastal and feel to it. The coloured people of Cape Town have an affiliation with the All Blacks like nothing else. That they'll be welcoming them into the airports. They'll be dressed in All Black kit. Or Super Rugby kit. They absolutely love it. The relationship there is unbelievable.
Top 3 places to frequent when you're in Cape Town, your wee must-dos?
Well, of course, I can't go past Camps Bay.
Yes.
Number
1.
Yeah, number 1. And in particular on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's nice on a Sunday. Caprice. To name drop one in particular. There's another place there which gets frequented a lot. I won't name it because probably incriminate myself and a few others. And then the thing that I learnt, the waterfront. You go down the waterfront.
Yeah, the port.
Yeah, the port, which is tourist. It's very touristy, but it's wonderful
lovely.
Place.
It's lovely. Some good places to eat down there.
And there's
like $5.
Well, and there's some smart seals that hide out there as opposed to a few kilometres around the corner of the rock.
Yeah.
getting munched.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're entertaining. And if you're ever panicking about or haven't got any South African souvenirs to take home and you're on your last day of your tour, go down
there.
the waterfront.
Go there, get yourself one of the teddies of the Big Five.
You might pay heavy because they might know that you're a tourist, but it's a wonderful part.
Walk, Table Mountain?
Yeah, look, I did it once.
From top to bottom?
No.
You caught the cable car
up. Yeah, of course I did. Yeah. Just looking after the body.
This is a time when you went as tourist?
No, I was playing. So do you know some of our clowns, some of the real sickos used to, on their Sunday, walk up it.
They clearly didn't play hard enough.
No.
Didn't empty the tank.
Tana let them.
Check the GPS. But Cape Town, wonderful place.
Yep.
First stop on the tour, game 2. 5 days later, I think there's about 5 days between.
Yes.
So it's a Tuesday, the next stop. Maybe that's only 4 days. Durban. Sharks.
Yeah, another one.
Etzebeth.
Yes.
Colisi.
Another one of the absolute beautiful spots on a South African tour. And for tourists amongst us, it's a day experience. All of them are, but I want to focus in on Durban because they do the car park braais. So Kings Park, wonderful, steep, traditional stadium that we've all seen on TV for years, but it's put in amongst like probably 20 rugby grounds. So they all come in, they park their cars there, they have the braais and just make a real day of it. And it's an awesome experience. The players often, depending on the situation, will go out into a car park afterwards and go and meet the locals. And then there's the option of maybe sending your bag home back on the team bus, and there's actually a nightclub attached to Kings Park. Which, if you're feeling that way inclined and you want to have a later night,
enjoy the culture,
soak you can
up
stay.
the atmosphere.
One of the great tragedies of Durban is we used to stay in this hotel right on the beachfront there, and across the road was a place called Joe Cool's, which was, again, it's not quite Caprice level, but it was pretty iconic in itself on a Sunday. Which, when you're trying to acclimatise and adjust to the time differences, staying up as late as you can is a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so going across to a place like Joe Cool's was a good way of, adjusting to time differences.
There you go. You're getting to know all the famous spots. And look, if you're a South African watching this and you're saying that's rubbish beef, let us know in the comments. Tell us your favourite spots in all of these destinations as well, where we need to go on tour in South Africa. The 15th, so we're on the weekend once again. Saturday, Bulls at Loftus.
Again, an experience.
So game day experience you're talking.
Game day experience, and I'd say Loftus would be the most hostile stadium in world rugby. Genuine hostile.
From the fans.
From the fans, and again, it's a traditional old South African stadium. It's that orange brick. You get dropped off outside in amongst the fans. It's all secure. But they are right there, and just a wonderful game day experience. They line the streets with their braais, Kirst, and it's at altitude. It's I guess the only way is it feels like you're in the heartland of South African rugby when you play at Loftus and playing the Bulls, heavily Afrikaner area, and. So, yeah, it's like no other.
What about the team that they could put out? Because they're actually stacked with Springboks players. Have a look at some of those names, B.
Yeah, there's a few, isn't there? And, of course, Pollard's gone back there. So, and, plays a traditional Bulls game. We were obviously coming up against Mornay, who's... Andre's probably got a little more attacking flair than Mornay, but Mornay was unbelievable, out of hand, drop kicks, goal kicking off the tee, phenomenal. Partnering with Fore Dupree, you had to be on your absolute game versus them. But you're mentioning the modern day Bulls: Pollard, Moody, Lowe, Grobbelaar, Surfontaine, Koba, Swiss, Lowe, Steenkamp. There's a Steenkamp going around when I was playing them too.
Oh, there's a fair few there, isn't there?
Ardenser. Oh, Jesus,
mouth-watering. It's a team.
Oh.
It's a team, and that is a week before the first test.
Yes.
So we banked 3 against the URC teams, and then test 1 at Ellis Park, August 22nd.
The Mecca. I've just talked about Loftus being the Mecca, but I guess the absolute home. So we'll have another Mecca. The other Mecca.
The other Mecca.
Which, of course, is only an hour away. So Pretoria and Joburg are your Hamilton and Auckland friendly.
Which one's which?
Which one's which? Well, no, yeah, Pretoria would Well, Pretoria.
Tourist Hamilton or?
Well, the Bulls are a lot more successful than the Lions or Cats or whatever they're called now. So you'd almost say, oh, yeah, well, I'm not going to give Blues any credit, am I? So, yeah.
Pretoria's Hamilton.
Smaller. But the capital, I do believe. Again, South Africans, you might be able to correct me on this.
You don't know the capital of South Africa?
I think it's Pretoria.
It must be.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Because, I think it is.
Okay.
The government housing.
Test 1.
Yep.
At Alice Park.
Brilliant. There'll be a flyover.
There will be. And it'll be so close to the top of that stadium, you can guarantee it.
They'll have some paint coming out.
Yeah.
Unlike our flyover.
Yeah, it'll be different. It'll be one you won't want to miss. Test 1, 22nd of August. Midweek in between Test 1 and 2. We play the Lions at Alice Park.
So, boys, yes, it'll be interesting.
What happens there?
Well, I think there'll be a team of 50 plus.
There has to be, don't there?
And so I think, like the Lions, probably a little bit, they'll split off at some point and have literally two operations, two parties going.
So if that's the case, then you're basically taking majority of the players in the All Blacks and All Blacks 15 on these end of year tours.
Yeah,
You'd be
and
hard
coaches
pressed
too.
to miss out.
I'll take coaches as well.
Jamie Joseph will take a team.
Yeah, and you're right. There'll be more players travelling than there won't be.
Yeah.
Jeez, how many first fives do you need?
Yeah, probably quite a few.
Yeah.
A few more than we have right now. One more season in your beef?
Yeah, Cruden's probably ahead of me at the moment. Played more recently, hasn't he?
Yeah, so you'd have to find another team.
Sopoaga.
Islanders are looking, I believe.
Yeah, well,
You wouldn't mind going down there under Jamie Joe?
No, I reckon
He
I'd go
might
on.
let you put the feet up a little bit during the week.
You reckon he would?
Give you a green jersey.
I'd love it.
So, Test 1, Lions midweek. Test 2 is in Cape Town.
Oh, brilliant.
Test 3 is at FNB Stadium, which is Soweto, is it?
I would have to think it is. If it's back in Joburg and it's not Ellis Park, I'm presuming it's the football stadium that they built for World Cup there a few years ago, and the All Blacks had a famous game there. I think, now I'm getting tested here, but I think it was John Smith's 100th.
Yes.
And in Soweto, and I think the boys might have ruined the party on the hooter.
So that was that game.
If I remember rightly.
3 tests in South Africa B, followed by a 4th on neutral territory the week after.
Yes.
So 4 straight weeks of top level. Are they doing a 4th? Obviously, 1, money, but 2, because they're expecting this to be drawn.
Well, no, I think it's financially beneficial. I mean, let's be honest. We are two unions who will try and find cash because we don't have, I guess the big economies like your France's and your England's. We don't own Twickenham like England do, so we need to find money.
So the 4th test on neutral territory, where's it going to be?
Well, there's a room. Like everyone just presumed Twickenham because of expat community, the commercial dollar, et cetera, et cetera. However, there's been a roughie shown up at Croke Park in Ireland.
You've played there.
Have played there. Oh, when I say I've played there, I got 10 minutes off the bench.
No one can take it away from you.
Where a lot of my tests did end up. But yeah. So, of course, Croke Park's famous for its Gaelic games, be it football or hurling. It's the centre of the Gaelic sport. So that would be, I tell you what, could you imagine the stadia liver? If you've done the tour, you've been in South Africa.
You've done 6 weeks.
You've been eating braais and drinking castle and brandies for 7 weeks straight. Then, I suppose we've got to tack on going to Dublin, do we?
We've got to go to Dublin to get a bit of Guinness in you.
Dublin for a week.
How horrible.
Torture.
Yeah.
Put me in my coffin after that 7 weeks.
So that is it.
That's a tour.
7 weeks on tour for the first time in 3 decades, Beef. We've all been waiting for it, and it's finally back.
Yes, it's just perfect because arguably the 2 top teams in the world at the moment, and will be next year. Obviously, France is thereabouts, and England and Ireland as well. But it's as all the promotions are telling us, the greatest rivalry. And it's the greatest matchup. I know a few people from the north have already come out and said, "Oh, rivalry, come on! Like, what about England, Scotland, and stuff like that?" But matchup, it's the greatest matchup. If you don't like the word greatest rivalry, use the words greatest matchup because it is. Facts tell you that. The 2 most successful World Cup teams, it is what it is.
1 and 2 in the world.
1 and 2 in the world at the moment. So, no, as far as a tour goes, I do feel a little bit for the boys. If you have to go 4 weeks Back-to-back test matches.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's not easy. On both sides. It's the highest level footy you could imagine.
Well, this is the Aftermatch with Kirsten Beeve. Come for the rugby, stay for the Aftermatch. Hopefully, stay for next year's 7-week tour of South Africa. If you are a Kiwi,
/UK.
are you coming? Are you coming in the comments? If you're South African and you've got more tips for us, let us know and make sure you do like and
Confirm
subscribe.
my big 5 too, would you?
Please, somebody. And where the sharks go.
Because in that time of year, there's like 8 or 9 of them floating around the boats, but they reckon later there's only like 1 or 2. So they've got to go somewhere.
The Great Whites.
Do you know what concerning for me is where this rock is, and I think it's called Shark Alley. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. It's like I don't know, you can literally see surfers over there. Like it's not on the horizon. It's literally a few nautical miles away.
You see, this is why I could never do it, because I would stop swimming in the ocean if I knew this and I saw them.
We'll do it. We'll take it. We could do it. We could find a really good host, unlike the one that took me and the Chiefs boys out.
It would have to be a blooming thick cage, I tell you, if you're getting me in there.
The content we could get for the Aftermatch socials, outstanding.
Maybe. But stay tuned, because this is part 1 of the Aftermatch this week. We're coming back with a second part for you all to preview the end of year tour, the Grand Slam for the All Blacks and the other 3 teams in the Rugby Championship.